Heaven has been trying to reach you. Not casually. Not as a passing thought. With the kind of persistent, determined, unrelenting intention that does not give up when the first attempt goes unanswered. Heaven has been reaching toward your life. Through the quiet moments you couldn't explain, through the thoughts that kept returning no matter how many times you pushed them away, through the dreams that stayed with you after you woke, through the feeling at the edges of your awareness that something was trying to get through, and today, through this message, the breakthrough finally happens. Archangel Michael was sent to find you. Not as a general announcement to whoever happened to be watching. As a targeted, specific, personal word for the person who is in the exact season you are walking through right now. The reaching has been going on longer than you have known it was happening. And today, the message breaks through. Stay with me through this entire message. What you are about to receive is not just encouragement. It is the word that has been in transit toward your life, fighting through every resistance, breaking through every barrier, arriving today because today is the appointed time for it to land. Like this video right now. Right now, before we go one step further. If something in you already recognized those opening words, if something in you said yes, that is exactly what I have been sensing, like this video as your first declaration, I am here. I am receiving. The message has found me. I want to start by asking you something honest. In the weeks and months that have led up to this moment, have you had the sense that something was trying to get your attention? A persistent feeling beneath the surface of your daily life. A thought that came back no matter how many times the noise of the day buried it. A longing that grew stronger even as the circumstances around you gave you less reason to feel it. A quiet knowing that there was something you were supposed to hear, something trying to break through, something that mattered more than the routine of ordinary days. That was not anxiety. That was not your imagination. That was heaven calling. And today the call breaks through. Subscribe to this channel right now and turn on all notifications. Because this is not the only word heaven has for you in this season. There is more coming. And you need to be connected when it arrives. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Stay ready. In Luke chapter 15, Jesus told 3 stories back to back. The lost sheep. The lost coin. The lost son. And in every single one of them, the central figure does the same thing without stopping, they search. The shepherd leaves 99 sheep and goes after the one that is lost until he finds it. The woman lights a lamp and sweeps the entire house, searching carefully, until she finds the one coin. The father watches the road every day. Which means he has been watching the road every day, and when the figure finally appears in the distance he runs. The searching is the point. The persistence of the searching is the point. Heaven does not look at what is distant or separated or hard to reach and decide it is not worth the effort. Heaven lights a lamp and sweeps every corner. Heaven watches the road and runs when the moment of connection finally comes. Today heaven is running toward you. The lamp has found the coin. The shepherd has carried the sheep home. And the Father is already running down the road before you are close enough to see his face clearly. This is the God behind today's message. This is the one who sent Michael to find you. And the fact that he has been reaching, and reaching, and reaching, and has not stopped reaching, is itself the evidence of how much you matter to the one who is sending the message. Type the word found in the comments right now. As your declaration that the reaching of heaven has found you today. That the connection being made in this moment is real. That you are not lost, you are found. Type found. Now let me tell you what heaven has been trying to say. The message that has been in transit toward your life. 7 specific, urgent, personal words that have been fighting through every barrier to reach you today. First word: you are not as far from your breakthrough as the waiting has made you feel. There is a gap between where you are and where you need to be. You know it. You feel it every day. The distance between the life you are living and the life you sense you were meant for. The gap between what you have been praying for and what has actually appeared. The space between the promise and the fulfillment that has been stretching for so long that the fulfillment has started to feel like it might not be real. But here is what heaven needs you to understand. Feelings of distance are not measurements of distance. And the God who operates outside of time sees your situation from a completely different vantage point than the one you are standing in. Numbers chapter 13. The 12 spies went into Canaan and came back with a report. 2 of them, Joshua and Caleb, said, "The land is exactly what God promised. It is good. It is everything He said. We can take it. Let us go up at once." The other 10 said, "We cannot do it. The people are giants. We felt like grasshoppers standing next to them. Same land. Same giants. Same distance from where they stood to what God had promised. Completely different reports. And the difference was not in the facts. It was in the measurement. 10 of them measured the distance by how they felt standing in front of the giants. 2 of them measured it by the character and the track record and the promises of God. You are standing in front of giants right now. Real giants. The financial pressure that has not lifted. The relationship that has not been restored. The health situation that has not resolved. The calling that has not found its expression. The dream that has not happened. Those giants are real. But you are measuring the distance to your breakthrough by looking at the giants, and the giants are making everything else look impossibly far. Heaven's measurement is different. And heaven's word today is, you are closer than you think. The breakthrough that looks like it is on the far side of impossible is one divine movement away from becoming the reality you are standing in. The giants are real, but they are not the final word. The promise is real and it is the final word. And the gap between where you are and where you are going is not as wide as the length of the waiting has made it feel. Like this video right now, if this first word is recalibrating something. If you needed to hear that the distance is not what it looks like from where you are standing, let that like be your declaration: I am closer than I feel. The breakthrough is nearer than the waiting has suggested. Second word: every prayer you prayed that felt unanswered was heard from the moment you spoke it. This is the word that heaven has been most urgently trying to deliver. Because nothing drains faith faster than the feeling that your prayers are going nowhere. That the words are leaving your mouth and dissolving into the air without reaching anyone. That the ceiling is there and the prayers are bouncing off it and God is either not listening or not responding. That feeling is based on a lie. 1 Kings chapter 18. Elijah prayed for rain after 3.5 years of drought. He sent his servant to look for clouds 7 times. 7 times the servant came back with the same report: nothing. The sky is clear. There is nothing to see. And Elijah did not stop. He kept his head between his knees and he kept praying. And on the 7th report, a cloud the size of a man's hand rising from the sea. Tiny. Almost invisible. The kind of thing you could easily dismiss. And Elijah said, "Go tell Ahab, prepare your chariot and go down before the rain stops you." Before the rain was falling. Before the cloud had grown. Before there was any natural confirmation that the prayer had been answered. He declared it done. Because he had prayed. And he knew his God. And he knew that the small cloud was not nothing, it was the beginning of everything. And then the sky grew black. And the wind rose. And there was a great rain. Your prayers have been landing. Every single one of them. The ones you prayed with full faith and the ones you prayed through gritted teeth. The ones that felt powerful and the ones that felt like nothing more than tired words in an empty room. They all arrived. They all landed. They are all on record in heaven. And somewhere in your situation right now, if you look carefully, if you look past the giants and the delays and the discouragement, there is a cloud the size of a man's hand. A small thing that changed when nothing else has. A slight shift in the situation you have been praying over. An unexpected conversation. A small door that opened when the large ones are still closed. A thought that came from nowhere with the exact direction you needed. That is the cloud. The prayer has been heard. The rain is coming. And what is currently the size of a man's hand is about to become a sky full of everything you have been asking for. Do not dismiss the small signs. Do not measure the answer only by the dramatic arrival. The cloud is already forming. The rain is already on its way. Type the word rain in the comments right now. As your declaration that you believe your prayers have been received. That the cloud is forming. That the rain is coming. Type rain. Third word. The battle you have been feeling is real, and it is ending in your favor. There is a reason this season has felt like more than ordinary difficulty. There is a reason that some days take twice the energy they should take. That peace is harder to access. That the attacks seem to come in patterns, financial pressure and relational strain and spiritual heaviness arriving together as if they were coordinated. They are coordinated. Ephesians 6 verse 12 says it plainly. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness. The opposition is not random. It is organized. It has hierarchy. It has specific assignments against specific people. But here is what Michael brings as the urgent word today: the battle is ending in your favor. Daniel chapter 10. The angel who appeared to Daniel said, "The prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. Real spiritual resistance. Real battle in the unseen realm. The opposition was genuine. The delay it caused was real. And then, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me. Michael entered the fight. And the resistance ended. And the answer arrived. Michael is in your fight. The opposition that has felt so solid, so immovable, so like it will never end, it is looking at Michael. And nothing withstands Michael. Revelation chapter 12 tells us that there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels against the dragon and his angels, and the dragon was not strong enough. There was no place found for him in heaven. He was thrown down. Not strong enough. Against Michael, the most organized spiritual opposition in existence was simply not strong enough. And the same Michael who won that battle is fighting in the unseen realm around your situation right now. The battle is ending. Not gradually fading, ending. The resistance is being broken. And the breakthrough that has been opposed is about to break through because the one who has been doing the opposing has met the one who cannot be stopped. Subscribe right now and turn on all notifications. Because what this channel does week after week is bring exactly this kind of word, the word that shows you what is actually happening in the battle around your life and calls you to stand in what has already been decided. Subscribe. Stay connected. Fourth word. The thing you have been holding longest is exactly what God has been preparing to release. Some of you have been holding something for a very long time. A dream. A calling. A specific prayer for a specific person or situation. A hope for something that has been on your heart so long that it has become part of how you define yourself, the thing you are still believing for, the thing you have not been able to fully release even when every reasonable voice said it was time. You have wondered if holding it this long is faith or foolishness. Whether the continuing desire is from God or simply your own attachment to something that is not going to happen. Heaven's word today, it is faith. And the length of the holding is proportional to the significance of what is being prepared. Genesis chapter 22. Abraham had waited 25 years for Isaac, the son of promise, the child through whom every covenant was supposed to be fulfilled. 25 years of waiting before the promise arrived. And then God asked him to give Isaac up. And Abraham went. He climbed the mountain. He built the altar. He bound his son. He raised his hand. And the angel stopped him. And then he saw it, a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. Provision that had been there the entire time. Hidden, invisible, waiting for exactly this moment. God did not want Isaac. He wanted the posture, the complete, unreserved trust that held nothing back. And the moment that posture was fully demonstrated, the moment Abraham was fully willing to trust God with the thing he had waited longest for, the provision appeared. The ram was in the thicket. It was always in the thicket. The thing you have been holding longest, the dream, the calling, the prayer, God has not forgotten it. The ram is in the thicket. The provision is already there. And the long holding, the faithfulness through the years of delay, the refusal to fully release it. That has not been stubbornness. It has been the building of the posture that the moment of release requires. The ram is about to become visible. Keep climbing. You are almost at the place where you can see it. Type the word holding in the comments right now. As your declaration that you are still holding what God gave you. That the years have not caused you to release it. That you believe the ram is in the thicket. Type holding. Fifth word. The person you have been interceding for is closer to home than you know. This word is for the person who carries not primarily their own burden but someone else's. A child who has walked away. A spouse who is struggling. A friend in a destructive pattern. A parent who has not yet made peace with God. A sibling who has closed every door. You have been carrying them, in prayer, in faith, in the exhausting hope of someone who refuses to give up on a person that everyone else has written off. And the waiting has been long. And the silence has been hard. And there have been moments where you have almost put it down because the carrying has been so costly. Do not put it down. Luke chapter 15 again. The prodigal son was in the far country. At his lowest point, sitting among the pigs, eating what the pigs were eating, having wasted everything he had been given, the text says, he came to himself. Something woke up in him. Something that had been buried under the distance and the waste and the shame suddenly surfaced. And he said, I will arise and go to my father. He was already turning before the father saw him. He was already in motion. Already heading home. And the father, who had been watching the road, which means he had been watching the road every day, saw him while he was still a great way off. And ran. The person you have been interceding for may already be in motion. Already beginning to turn. Already somewhere in the gap between the far country and the road home. Your prayers have been keeping the road open. Your intercession has been keeping the light on. And the Father is watching the road with the same attention that your prayers have been sustaining. Do not stop. They are closer to home than the distance has made it look. Like this video right now, if this fifth word is for you. If you are carrying someone in prayer and you needed to hear that the intercession is not wasted. That they are already turning. That the road home is still open. Let that like be your declaration, I will not stop. They are coming home. Sixth word, what looked like devastation was actually redirection. Some of you have a chapter in your story that you have not been able to make sense of. Something that happened, a loss, a failure, a door that closed, a relationship that ended, a plan that collapsed, that at the time felt like the end of something important. And you have been trying to reconcile what happened with what you believed God had for your life. Trying to understand how the two fit together. Finding it hard to trust the next chapter when the previous one ended so badly. Joseph, Genesis chapters 37 through 50. His brothers sold him into slavery. He was trafficked into Egypt, separated from everyone he knew, stripped of everything he had. He served faithfully in Potiphar's house and was falsely accused and thrown into prison. He interpreted dreams accurately and was forgotten for 2 years. 13 years of what looked, from the inside, like devastation upon devastation upon devastation. And then Pharaoh had a dream. And the only name that came to anyone's mind was Joseph. And in a single day, one extraordinary day, Joseph went from prison to the second highest position in the most powerful nation on earth. And from that position he saved the lives of millions of people, including the family that had sold him. And looking back at all of it, at the pit, the slavery, the false accusation, the prison, the forgotten favor, Joseph said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Every chapter that looked like devastation was actually a movement in a story that was always heading somewhere significant. The pit was not the end. The prison was not the end. The forgotten favor was not the end. They were chapters in a story that required all of them to reach the ending that was always planned. Your devastating chapter was not the end of your story. It was a redirection. A repositioning. A movement in a story that is heading somewhere more significant than the chapter you lost could have taken you. And the day is coming when you will look back at what you could not make sense of and say, God intended it for good. And it was. Type the word redirected in the comments right now. As your declaration that what looked like devastation was actually direction. That the painful chapter was not the end of your story. That God has been working in every single part of it, including the parts that made no sense. Type redirected. Seventh word, the breakthrough is not coming, it is already moving. This final word is the one I want to send you forward with today. Because I know that after everything that has been said, every declaration, every promise, every biblical pattern, the question that lives underneath all of it is, but when? When does the breakthrough actually arrive? When does the waiting end? When does what has been promised become what is visible? Today's answer, the breakthrough is already moving. Not will begin moving when you have done enough or believed enough or waited enough. Already moving. It has been in motion. 2 Kings chapter 3. The prophet Elisha told 3 kings who were in desperate need of water in the desert, "Make this valley full of trenches." And he said, "You will not see wind or rain, but this valley will be filled with water, so that you and your cattle and your animals will drink. And this is only a light thing in the sight of He, Lord. Make trenches in dry ground, with no sign of rain, with no forecast of water, with nothing visible in the natural to suggest that what he was describing was anything other than wishful thinking. Dig the trenches anyway." And the next morning, water came flowing from the direction of Edom and filled the valley. The water was already moving before the trenches were dug. The breakthrough was already in motion before the preparation was complete. God told them to dig because the water was coming, and they needed to be ready to receive what was already on its way. The breakthrough in your life is already moving. The provision is already in transit. The answer is already on its way. The question is, are you digging the trenches? Are you preparing for what is coming? Are you positioning yourself to receive what is already in motion? Even when you cannot see it yet, even when the ground is still dry, even when every natural sign says there is nothing coming, dig the trenches. Prepare for the water. Because the water is already coming. And it will fill the valley to exactly the depth the trenches are prepared to receive it. Like this video right now with the full agreement of your spirit. If the seventh word has landed, if you feel the shift from waiting for something to begin to recognizing something that has already been moving, let that like be your seal. It says, I receive this. I am preparing. I am ready for the water that is already on its way. Now let me speak from Scripture about 3 specific moments when heaven broke through to reach people who had been waiting, who had almost given up, who needed the message to finally arrive. Jacob at the Jabbok River. Genesis chapter 32. Jacob was at the most dangerous crossroads of his life. He was about to face his brother Esau, the brother he had cheated out of his birthright 20 years earlier, the brother who had threatened his life, the brother who was coming to meet him with 400 men. The night before that confrontation, alone at the river crossing, a figure appeared and began to wrestle with him. They wrestled until the breaking of the day. The entire night. And when the figure saw that he had not prevailed against Jacob, he touched his hip socket and put it out of joint. And Jacob still would not let go. He said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And the figure said, What is your name? And he said, Jacob. And the figure said, Your name shall no longer be called Jacob but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men and have prevailed. Jacob limped away from that encounter. The wrestling had cost him something physical and permanent. He would walk with a limp for the rest of his life. But he walked away with a new name, a new identity, and a blessing that would shape not just his life but the identity of 12 tribes and the entire trajectory of what God was building through that family. Sometimes the breakthrough comes through the wrestling. Sometimes the thing that feels like God is resisting you. The prayer that will not release into its answer, the door that will not open despite the knocking, the situation that will not resolve despite the faithfulness. Sometimes that wrestling is the very encounter that is transforming you at the deepest level. You may be limping. The wrestling may have cost you something real. But the blessing is in the wrestling. The new name is on the other side of the holding on. And the person who comes through the night of wrestling is not the same person who went into it. They are someone greater, someone more formed, someone with a name that carries more weight than the one they carried before. Do not let go. The breaking of day is coming. And the blessing is already being given in the wrestling itself. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. Because this channel exists to carry words like this one. Words that meet you in the wrestling and tell you, hold on. The blessing is in the holding. Subscribe. Stay connected. Samuel and the voice in the night. 1 Samuel chapter 3. Samuel was a young boy serving in the temple under the priest Eli. He had not yet known the Lord. The text says the word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. He was in the right place, doing the right things, faithful in his service, but the direct word of God had not yet broken through to him personally. And then in the night, God called his name. Samuel. He ran to Eli, "Here I am, you called me." Eli said, "I did not call you. Go back and lie down." 3 times this happened. 3 times the voice. 3 times the running to Eli. 3 times, "I did not call you." And then Eli understood what was happening. He said, "Go lie down. And if he calls you again you shall say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant hears.'" And the Lord came and stood and called as before, "Samuel. Samuel." And Samuel said, "Speak, for your servant hears." And the Lord spoke. And everything that followed, Samuel's entire prophetic ministry, the words he would speak to kings, the anointing of David, the shaping of a nation, everything flowed from that first moment of receiving what heaven had been trying to deliver. Heaven has been calling your name. Maybe you have been going to the wrong places to find the source of the voice. Maybe you have been running toward human explanations for something that is coming from a divine direction. And like Samuel, you needed someone to say, "The voice you are hearing is from God." And the posture you need is, "Speak. I am listening." That is the posture heaven is asking of you today. Not perfect theology. Not a cleaned-up life. Not a fully sorted spiritual state. Just, "Speak, Lord. Your servant hears. I am here. I am open. Break through. And heaven will speak. Because it has been speaking. And today the connection is fully made. Type the word "Speak, Lord" in the comments right now. As your prayer and your declaration. As your posture of full openness to what heaven has been trying to say. Let those 2 words be your Samuel moment, the moment you stopped running to the wrong explanations and turned fully toward the voice that has been calling your name. Type "Speak, Lord." The disciples on the road to Emmaus. Luke chapter 24. 2 disciples were walking away from Jerusalem after the crucifixion. They were walking in the wrong direction, away from where the resurrection was being discovered, away from the community, away from the upper room. They were walking in grief and confusion and the deep disorientation of people whose understanding of everything had just collapsed. And Jesus himself drew near and walked with them. And the text says, their eyes were kept from recognizing him. He walked with them. He listened to their grief. He let them tell him what had happened, tell him, the one it had happened to, without revealing himself. And then he said, was it not necessary that the Christ should suffer these things and enter into his glory? And beginning with Moses and all the prophets he interpreted to them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And their hearts burned within them. They said later, did not our hearts burn within us while he talked to us on the road, while he opened to us the scriptures? They did not recognize him with their eyes. They recognized him in their hearts. The burning was the sign. The warmth that came as the word was opened, that was the recognition of the presence of Jesus before their eyes were opened to see him. And then they urged him, stay with us, for it is toward evening and the day is now far spent. And he came in to stay with them. And when he was at table with them he took the bread and blessed and broke it and gave it to them. And their eyes were opened and they recognized him. The message that has been breaking through to you today, have you felt it in the way their hearts burned? That warmth beneath the words. That sense of something landing in a place deeper than intellectual understanding. The burning that says, this is not just content. This is presence. This is the one who has been walking with me on the road, the one I did not fully recognize until now. He has been walking with you. On the road of this difficult season, in the disorientation of the things that have not made sense, in the grief of what has been lost. He has been right there. Walking with you. Interpreting the scripture of your own life. Opening what has been closed. Warming what has grown cold. And today, in this message, in this moment, your eyes are being opened. And what you see is not a stranger who happened to join you on the road. It is the risen Lord who has been there the whole time. Like this video right now if you felt the burning. If something in you recognized the presence in the word as more than just content. Let that like be your Emmaus moment, I see him. He was here all along. Now here is the practical framework, 5 specific steps to respond to the breakthrough that heaven has been working toward. Step 1. Receive fully what has already been sent. The breakthrough has been in motion. The word has been in transit. The message has been fighting to get through. And the single most important thing you can do right now is receive it, fully, completely, without the deflection of false humility or the protection of keeping it at a safe intellectual distance. Let it land. Let what was sent for you actually reach you. Say out loud, I receive what heaven has sent. I receive the breakthrough that is already moving. I receive the word that has been fighting to reach me. Step 2, dig the trenches before the rain arrives. Elisha told them to make the valley full of trenches before any water appeared. Practical preparation in response to a promise you cannot yet see is one of the clearest expressions of faith. What does preparation look like for the specific breakthrough you have been believing for? The application sent before the opportunity is confirmed. The room prepared before the relationship is restored. The savings begun before the provision arrives. The skill developed before the door opens. Dig the trench. The water is coming. Step 3, speak your name as Israel, not Jacob. After the wrestling, Jacob's identity changed. He had to learn to answer to a different name, a name that meant one who has striven with God and prevailed rather than one who grabs or supplants. Begin to speak over yourself the identity of the one who has been through the wrestling and prevailed, not the identity of the one who is still in the struggle. I am someone who has been through this season and come out formed. I am someone who has been prepared by the delay for what the delay was preparing me for. I am Israel, not Jacob. Step 4. Stay on the road even when you cannot see him clearly. The disciples on the road to Emmaus did not recognize Jesus with their eyes. But they stayed in the conversation. They kept walking. They invited him in. And the recognition came at the table. Sometimes you will not have the full clarity of seeing. You will have the burning, the sense that something is real, that the presence is there, that the word is landing somewhere important. Stay in that. Keep walking. Keep the conversation going. The eyes opened moment will come. Step 5. Let today be the day the tide turns. There are moments in a story where something changes, not because of anything dramatic, but because of a decision made in a specific moment to receive what has been sent and respond to it. Today can be that moment. Not because of the words of this message in themselves, but because of what you choose to do with what has landed. The tide turns when someone says, I receive this. I stand on this. I act on this. I am not the same person I was before this word reached me. Let today be that day. Type the word turning in the comments right now, as your declaration that today is the day the tide turns in your life. That the breakthrough that has been moving is now being received. That the message has finally broken through and you are responding to it. Type turning. And now the closing word. The word at the center of everything heaven has been reaching toward your life to say. Heaven has been trying to reach you. And today, finally, completely, with nothing between the message and the person it was sent for, the message breaks through. You are not forgotten. You have never been forgotten. The silence that has sometimes felt like abandonment was not abandonment. It was the sound of a battle being fought over your breakthrough in the unseen realm. It was the sound of preparation happening in ways you could not see. It was the sound of the trench being dug, the road being prepared, the ram being positioned in the thicket before you climbed high enough to see it. You are not behind. You have not missed the window. You have not prayed too late or believed too little or failed your way out of what God has for you. The cloud the size of a man's hand is already visible if you look. The water is already flowing toward the valley. The breakthrough is not coming, it is already moving. And the God behind all of this, the one who sent Michael to break through to you today, the one who has been calling your name in the night, the one who has been walking with you on the road and opening the scriptures of your own life to you, that God is not a distant architect managing outcomes from far away. He is the one who counts your tears, who calls you by name, who runs down the road toward you, who weeps with you at the tomb before he calls out of it what was dead. He knows your name. He knows your situation. He knows exactly what has been taken from you and what has been delayed and what has been the cost of this long season. And he sent this message, specifically, personally, fighting through every barrier to reach you today, because you matter. Not in a general way. Specifically. You. The message has broken through. Receive it. Stand on it. Dig the trenches. Keep walking on the road. Hold on through the wrestling. Let today be the turning. Because the breakthrough that has been moving toward your life is about to arrive. And when it does, when you are standing in what you have been believing for, when the promise has become the reality, when the rain is falling in the valley you prepared, you will look back at this moment and know, this was the day it broke through. This was the day heaven finally reached me. This was the turning point. Today is that day. Now speak these declarations out loud. Your own voice. Right now. Heaven has been reaching toward my life, and today the message has found me. I am not lost. I am found. I am closer to my breakthrough than the waiting has made me feel. The giants are real, but they are not the final word. The promise is the final word. Every prayer I have prayed has arrived. The rain is coming. The cloud is already forming. I will not dismiss the small signs. The battle around my life is ending in my favor. Michael has entered the fight. The resistance has met the one who cannot be stopped. The thing I have been holding longest is exactly what God has been preparing to release. The ram is in the thicket. I am almost at the place where I can see it. The person I have been interceding for is closer to home than I know. I will not stop. The road home is still open. What looked like devastation was actually redirection. God has been working in every chapter. Even the ones that made no sense. The breakthrough is already moving. I am digging the trenches. I am preparing for the water that is already on its way. And it is so. Like this video right now if you received these declarations. If something in you settled during this message, some release, some return of hope, some quiet certainty that the message has finally broken through, let that like be your seal. It says, I received what was sent. And I am standing on it. Subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. Because the words that are going to keep you standing in what you receive today, the words that are going to continue the breakthrough that has started, are what this channel is here to deliver. Subscribe. Stay connected. The next word is already coming. Share this video with one person. Think of who came to mind during this message. The person who has been waiting the longest. The one who is about to give up on the breakthrough. The one whose cloud is the size of a man's hand and they need someone to say, that is not nothing. That is the beginning of the rain. Send it. Be the messenger today. Heaven has been trying to reach you. Today the message finally breaks through. Now go live in the reality of what has been received.